Welcome to the She Is You podcast, where we take everything from personal development, self-love, claiming your radical confidence, and fully stepping in to your highest version self. All of the ins and outs that come with it, and how to confidently show up through it all, making the dream life that you pray for manifest into fruition. I'm your host, Kenzie Llewellyn, Master Certified Life Coach, healer, and motivational speaker. Consider this your one-stop shop to chat with your besties about all of the things and get the tough love pick-me-up you need. Here is to living the life that you love and deserve. Now let's get started. Welcome to the She Is You podcast. I am super excited because today we are talking all about how to overcome imposter syndrome. I know this is something we all struggle with, and I feel like it's not talked about enough, especially whenever you are on your self-development journey. You're working towards becoming your absolute highest self and going through all of these changes and evolutions and just literally building yourself up to who you want to be. All of these different imposter syndromes are going to come up. And it's like the only way that we could break through that and work through it is acting as if. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. I'm super excited. To start off though, I want to give an in and an out. So for my in recommendation is, I think this is actually the same recommendation on the last episode, but if so, that's how you know how real it is. Reading. So any type of reading, honestly, Audible or any type of audiobooks. You can listen to audiobooks on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Honestly, listening to podcasts, reading actual paper books. I feel like when you read, you just go into a completely different world and you get so much knowledge. Like you have access to just insane amount of knowledge. So I love that. Another one of my is Skillshare. If you have never heard of Skillshare, it's basically this house of unlimited courses, trainings, programs of anything and everything that you want to learn. So I have absolutely loved using Skillshare. It's helped me learn so many things. Currently, I am taking courses on AI, marketing, how to edit for social media, just honestly anything that you want to brush up on or completely learn from the get-go. They have anything and everything that you want. They have stuff for how to learn how to edit in photography, for cooking, for how to work out. Like I literally mean anything and everything that you're wanting to learn. They have a course for it. So it's been really fun. You could do a free trial. I don't know for how long, but you're able to do a free trial, get in, see what everything is about, and then you could do annually or monthly. And honestly, it's amazing. So it's an amazing space for being on your self-development journey and just really getting to go all in and learn some new fun stuff. So that is my in. My out for this week is not following through with what you say. I used to struggle with this. I still do some days. I used to struggle with this so bad though. And it's like I would commit to all of these things and then I would never actually follow through with it. And I would wonder, why is nothing changing? And it's like because I wasn't devoted enough to the vision, to the goal, to follow through with it. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, I keep setting all these goals, I keep doing all these things, but nothing is actually happening, this is your sign that you need to follow through with it. I feel like I am a manifesting generator and I get super pumped. Like I get all these new exciting ideas and I want to try a million different things and just go in like all these different directions. And I was doing this so much that instead of having results, I would get a good idea and then I wouldn't see the results that I wanted. So I would completely quit and go in a different direction. And then I would try that for a couple weeks, no results, completely quit, go in another direction. And in the end, it's like I sat here feeling like I spread myself so thin doing all these things and seeing no results. And it is because I wasn't committed. I was not devoted to the goal of what doing this and becoming this and achieving this would make possible for me in my life. So when you are so crystal clear clarity on the vision of what it makes possible, it completely changes in how you show up for it. So get crystal clear clarity and be devoted to following through with what you say. And it's just going to make everything better. So that is my ins and outs for the week. Let me know what you are currently focused on working into your life and what you are focusing on letting go in your life. All right, let's get into it. So we're completely dropping the imposter syndrome today because this is something that holds so many of us back for so long and can honestly prevent you from truly ever fully stepping in to your full power and potential and everything that is meant for you in this life, holding on to that imposter syndrome is preventing you from it. Which we refuse to let this be our reality any longer. We are completely dropping it today. We are going to rewrite this story and step in to a brand new version of ourselves. How do we do this? The thing is, everyone deals with imposter syndrome. And one of two things either happen. They either choose to believe it and it completely stops them in their tracks and holds them in the same exact spot forever and they see no growth, or they choose to push through it and they feel the fear and do it anyway and go all in and say, you know what? I may not feel good enough, or I may not feel like I know enough, or why would this person want to listen to me or buy from me or believe in what I say, but I am going to push through it because it was placed on my heart for a reason and I know it is destined for me. And my mission and my purpose here in this world is to do big things, and I am following through with it. I am going to believe in myself before anyone else believes in me. And I promise you, that is when the magic happens. That is when you flourish. It is like springtime and you flourish like a beautiful little flower that you are. And it's just crazy what happens when you start believing in yourself and go inward for the validation instead of looking outward into all of these people on social media and people in our family and our friends and all these different areas where we look for this validation. Because why? Since we were children, this is what we did. When you are a child and you do something good, you want to hear from your mom and your dad and your grandma and grandpa and aunt and uncle and whoever, like, oh, great job, you're doing so amazing, you did so good. Yeah, the validation feels good, of course. And being a child, not knowing, oh, hey, I can look inward for the validation, that's not something we know. So then what happens? We grow up, we become adults, we are still looking in external places for this validation. It may no longer be from our parents, but it could be from a significant other, a group of friends, a boss, like all of these different places. We are still putting our value and our worth in other people's hands. So when you say, you know what, I'm done, I'm no longer doing this, I am taking this into my hands and I am going to harness my power and believe in myself before anyone else believes in me, you start showing up different. So what is imposter syndrome? Let's start by understanding what imposter syndrome actually is. It's this persistent feeling of inadequacy and self-doubt and the constant fear of being exposed as a fraud. Like you don't know enough, you aren't worthy enough, you haven't been doing it long enough, whatever it is. And even when you achieve success, you often feel like you don't deserve it, or that you're simply fooling everyone. Like you're still not worthy of this feeling, of this emotion, of this success, of this next phase in life. And this is us doing it to ourselves. And you might constantly compare yourself to others, feeling like you're not good enough or not talented enough or not worthy enough. And then this can manifest in many ways, such as perfectionism and self sabotage and procrastination. And it's like all of these things hinder who we are meant to be. So it literally stops us in our tracks of becoming our most authentic, self, our most powerful self, of who we are meant to be at our core, of stepping into your full power and potential. And it's important to remember that imposter syndrome is incredibly common. Again, everyone deals with it. If you are dealing with any type of growth or have dealt with any type of growth, chances are they've dealt with it. Because why? Growth is new. You cannot prepare yourself for a brand new experience. You can only set yourself up so much, but you cannot prepare yourself for what it's going to be because it's new. You've never been there, you've never experienced it, you've never done it, you've never been at this space or place, so you don't know how it's going to be or how it's going to make you feel or what may come up. And you're not alone in this. Even the most successful people experience feelings of the self-doubt and inadequacy from time to time, but what matters is how they move through it. Do they either listen to it and start feeding into it and believing it and let it stop them? Or do they say, like, you know what? I don't know, but I'm going to learn as I go because I grow through what I go through. And I know it was placed on my heart for a reason. Unmasking the imposter. So, how exactly do we start to overcome this internal sabotage? The first step is to identify your triggers. What situations or circumstances tend to trigger these feelings of inadequacy? Is it public speaking, taking on new challenges, receiving praise or recognition, showing up on your stories, embarking in a new journey? Like, what is it when you experience this feeling of not being worthy enough the most? And notice it. And once you identify your triggers, it's time to start challenging those negative self talk patterns. So instead of saying, I'm not qualified for this, try, I have the skills and experience to succeed. Instead of saying, I'm going to fail, try saying, I am capable of learning and growing from this experience. And keeping an accomplishments journal. So these can be incredibly helpful. It's basically documenting your success, no matter how small, and this can help you recognize your achievements and really start to notice that you are always moving forward. You are always doing things, you are always showing up, you are literally stepping in to that highest version of yourself step by step, whether it's baby steps or big long strides, but every single day you are becoming more of her. It is going to let you build a stronger sense of the self-belief that you need in order to fully step in. So if we start inch by inch and we start kind of like motion in the ocean, getting that momentum going to little by little, like, oh, I'm going to try to run 1 mile today. And then you run that mile and you're like, you know what? I'm going to run 5 miles the next day. And you run those five and then so on and so forth. You are proving to yourself every single day that you can do it, that you stick to what you say, that you follow through, that you are worthy of receiving this praise and success because you know it and you've done it and you go through it. And you practice what you preach and you show up. Building a foundation of confidence. So now let's focus on building a strong foundation of confidence. First, we want to identify your strengths and skills. What are you good at? What do you feel confident in? What do you enjoy doing? Make a list of all of these talents and abilities, no matter what. Like, I had one of my friends say her hidden talent is she can move her ears. And it's like, it's true. Focus on what you can do about yourself, on the things that make you uniquely you, because that is your superpower. I promise you. That is going to set you aside from all of the competition. That's going to make you stand out. And more than anything, when you embrace those quirks and those dorks and those things that make you authentically you, that is when you are going to shine so bright. And when you are shining bright, you are literally lighting the way for others. You are lighting the path for people to come to you so that you can help them on their journey. So set realistic and achievable goals. I absolutely believe in like being Delulu to the fullest. I'm a strong advocate for Delulu, but we want to break down larger goals into smaller goals and manageable steps. Why do we want to do this? That way we prevent feeling overwhelmed or burnout, which then leads to, you know what, I'm just going to quit because this is too overwhelming. So instead, breaking down those larger goals into the smaller manageable goals will help you feel a sense of accomplishment as you progress toward your larger objectives. Celebrate your successes. So acknowledge and celebrate your accomplishments no matter how small. This could be anything from finishing a challenging project to simply completing a workout to making a home cooked meal instead of going out to eat. Like anything and everything. Waking up at the time that you said you were going to multiple days in a row. Like celebrate it all. Because at the end of the day, you taking these strides and taking these small steps and committing consistently is you stepping into your highest version self. It's not going to happen overnight, but you consistently showing up every single day is what is going to make it happen. Seeking support. Remember, you don't have to face imposter syndrome alone. Actually, you're not supposed to face it alone. You taking your power back from it and being vulnerable and speaking up, especially to your close knit community of like-minded women, which if you are looking for a community of like-minded women who are on their self-development, self-growth journeys and really ready to level up and celebrate you on every single win along the way, you should absolutely join my school community. The link is in the show notes. You get a 7-day free trial and access to everything inside of the community, which is some really, really amazing resources that are going to help you on your self-development journey completely level up without feeling overwhelmed or burnout. So surrounding yourself with these types of women and building a supportive network, connecting with mentors and friends or a therapist who can help or offer guidance and encouragement is going to literally raise your vibration. This is the saying, misery loves company. If you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. When it rains, it pours. Like all of these things and sayings, this is like this because when you are who you surround yourself with. So if you're surrounding yourself with negative, toxic people because you feel like you have to, or they've been your friends for so long, or it's someone in your family and you're like, I have to because that's just the way it is. So then you continue this pattern, this self-sabotaging pattern, and surrounding yourself with these negative, toxic people, nothing is going to change. You are literally just going to feed into that. You're never going to grow. You're just going to constantly feel this battle inward because you know you're meant for more, but you're scared to step into that full potential and power. Or you could say, like, you know what? I'm setting boundaries for myself because at the end of the day, that is me protecting my peace. I'm not going to settle for this. I'm putting up this boundary of if you make me feel blank, I will blank. If you make me feel not worthy of love and encouragement and kindness and all of these amazing things, I am going to cut you out of my life. Plain and simple. At the end of the day, it's like if they are not bettering you in some type of way, then they are holding you back. And you have to look at every single relationship in your life through this lens. Whether it's a friendship, a family member, a coworker, literally a spouse, anyone at all. If they're not building you up and helping you be better, whether it's just being good energy for you to be around, if it is sucking your energy at the end of the day and making you feel negative or toxic, they are holding you back. They are preventing you from growing. This is 100%, this is something that only we know the power and only we know what the relationship feels and looks like, and it is super hard. This is honestly one of the hardest things, but I promise this is going to be also one of the most rewarding things. When you cut off toxic people in your life, and it doesn't even have to be crazy, but when you cut off toxic people and you take your power back, that's exactly what you're doing. You are literally taking your power back from this relationship, and you are giving yourself this much more time, energy, focus, power, potential to grow in other places. So I would strongly suggest you to look at that. Think about the 5 people that you spend the most time with or interact with the most and ask yourself, do these relationships make me feel super uplifted and excited and happy and fulfilled? Or do they feel draining? And when I leave this person from talking to them or from having an interaction with them, I feel sad and drained and exhausted and whatever negative feeling comes up from being with this person, and recognizing that and then saying, I need to make some changes. Share your experience with others. Join a support group or connect with others who have experienced imposter syndrome. And I promise you, when you are more vulnerable, you're giving the other person permission to then open up and be vulnerable with you. So sharing your struggles can be incredibly validating and empowering. And when you start it as being vulnerable and being open, you are setting the tone for the relationship. It's like being super authentic and establishing that as this is an authentic friendship where I could show up exactly as I am. Like, I'm going to FaceTime you with no makeup on and I just rolled out of bed, but I'm so excited to talk to you and I have something to share with you. Being absolutely open with that. Those type of relationships and friendships in your life are going to be the absolutely most fulfilling thing that you can have. Self-compassion and self-care. Finally, remember to practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding. More than anything, notice how you are speaking to yourself. Bless me. Notice how you are speaking to yourself daily. Think about a friend, and if you have a friend and you are constantly belittling them and putting them down and shaming them and making them feel just negative, do you think that they want to grow? Do you think that they're going to want to feel good around you and grow and show up and be excited? No, they're literally going to feel exhausted and they're going to feel like they can't show up or they don't want to. Rather than if you have this relationship and you're speaking positivity into it and you're speaking kindness and love and encouragement, how do you think they're going to show up different? Now, think about this with ourselves. If you are talking to yourself from a negative lens and you are constantly speaking down to yourself, you are not going to want to show up in your fullest potential and power. Rather than if you are speaking to yourself through a lens of love and compassion and encouragement, you are going to want to show up for yourself. So notice how you speak to yourself and make shifts where needed. Acknowledge that everyone experiences self-doubt and it's okay to make mistakes. prioritize self-care, and nourish your mind, body, and soul. In my school community, I also have a 7-day soft girl reset that teaches you all on how to fully nourish yourself, mind, body, and soul, make changes where needed, set boundaries, really pour into yourself and fill your cup up so that way you are able to pour into others and feeling so good and just excited about it instead of feeling overwhelmed and burnout. So I would highly encourage the 7-day soft girl reset because it is going to make you feel drastically different from day 1 to day 7, and you're going to feel like a brand new person, ready to fully show up in your highest potential and power and really evolve into that next version of yourself that you are wanting to become. I talk all about hobbies and what you can do and how to really nourish yourself in all areas of mind, body, and soul from so many different ways that from it could be spending time in nature, engaging in creative hobbies. I absolutely love nurturing your creativity side because doing this is it's basically nurturing your inner child. When you do this, ideas flow out of you. And it's like, it's so fun and exciting and such a free place to be. So I highly encourage and love going into the creativity side. And I think it's such a fun thing that we all need to do more. So overcoming imposter syndrome is an ongoing journey. It is, I promise you, it is never ending, just like decluttering. But it is going to get easier the more you do it. It's like quieting that inner critic. Before you know it, you're like, no, absolutely not. We're not even, I know my worth. I know who I am. I know my power and potential, and I'm stepping into it. I'm unbothered. So this requires the consistent effort and self-awareness. But by implementing these strategies consistently, you can silence that inner critic completely. You're going to then naturally embrace your true potential and power and achieve every single goal that you set out for. At the end of the day, remembering that you are so more than capable of amazing things. You are worthy and deserving, and it was placed on your heart for a reason. Believe in yourself and completely watch yourself soar. I know it feels scary and it feels like we're the only ones in the world that deal with it when we're the ones dealing with the imposter syndrome. But when you really decide, like, you know what, I'm going to feel the fear and I'm going to do it anyway. It was placed on my heart. God, give me the strength that I need. Give me the words when I feel like I don't have the words, and let me completely show up in my authentic power and light so that I can shine the path for others. And it is insane to watch what happens. I promise you that when you just completely say, you know what, I am going to bless it and let it go. I am going to feel the fear and do it anyway, and just completely trust God and let Him guide me on the path that I need to be on. This is when magic happens in your life. So this is your sign. If you've been struggling with imposter syndrome lately and you're like, I don't know where to go, it's time. It is time for you to start stepping up and showing up because you are meant for more. You were guided to this episode for a reason. You are feeling that urge inside you right now because you know you are meant for more, and it is time to shine that light. So I'm so excited. Please, please, please share with me and let me know what happens when you truly just start to implement all we talked about in today's episode. I would love and so appreciate a review from you if you want to give. If you're listening on Spotify, please give me a 5-star review. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, I would love for you to review. And I would love, love, love appreciate a rate and review. If you are listening on Spotify, please give me a 5-star rating. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, I would love a rating and review. It would literally mean the world to me and gives me the opportunity to continue to show up and make more episodes like this. If you are also listening on YouTube, please comment below, give the video a like, subscribe, all of the good things. And again, if you want a fulfilling community of like-minded women who are on their self-development and self-improvement journey and you're really ready to step into that next step, I would highly recommend, encourage, and really just love for you to join my school community. I am pouring my heart and soul, knowledge, time, energy, literally everything into the school community to make it the absolute best. This is my space where I get to come authentically show up, share with you all of the things that I'm learning, that I know will be helpful for you to implement into your life. And it is just a really good energy, high vibe space. You get a 7-day free trial. And when you are in the community for these 7 days, you get access to all of the courses. So you get to really jump in and dive in fully to just start your self-development journey. So I'm super excited. Again, the link is in the show notes. Please let me know if you have any questions. I am going to love you and leave you now. I'm sending you all of the love, the high vibes, the good energy. Have an amazing day, amazing week. And again, it is time to step in to your highest version self.